Let's cross over to the scoreboard where Ziti Jimoi has interesting pointers regarding the FKF 2024 elections that are set up for some time in December. Zita, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sila. Of course, I'll be taking you on the FKF polls in details, again, how the roadmap has been set up. So let's say in aspirants reservation with the electoral board, that is the things that they've highlighted that they think that needs to be changed, or something that they feel that it's not transparent. The process in picking the electoral board, that is one of the things that have been elected. Independence, that is operating from the FKF headquarters, meaning that they're not okay with that. And then lack of independence appeal committee, and then electoral timeline, that it will be 3 months, knowing that of course they've already given out the election, the FKF election date, that when will be happening. Again, these are the FKF electoral board members, that is, let's start with the Hesbon Owilo, that is the chairman, and then Marceline Sunday, and then we have Dan Mule, we have Alfred Nganga, and then we have James Waindi. That will be the electoral board members. We have 5 of them there. And then going to the roadmap that they've given us during the election, that is the key dates in election roadmap. Let's start with the October 10th. Final list of the eligible clubs and delegates is published. It's going to be published on the October 10th. And then on November 2nd, final list of county and national candidate is made public. That will be on November 2nd. And then going to the county level, county election will be held in November 9th. Those are part of the key dates in the election roadmap that will be happening during this span of 3 months. In November 23rd, the publication of the national delegate who will be eligible to vote. That will be on November 23rd. And then again, let's go to the FKF presidential election will be happening in December 7th. Please mark this date, because a lot of people were asking, election the president zitafanywa lini, the FKF president zitafanywa lini. So we've already been given the date that will be in December 7th, and then delegates must belong to the member. Delegates must belong to the member they present, either by appointment or election. Those are the part of the election roadmap that we've been given, and then we'll be following up and giving up you every update that will be happening before the election, that the date that have already been given, that is December 7th. And then, of course, all the complaints from all the candidates that are showing interest, we'll be bringing them here in Sporty Monday, and we'll be highlighting everything that will be happening before the election date that will be in December 7th. Back to you, Sila.
Thank you, Ziti, there at the scoreboard. And of course, before we delve into that, Sports CS Kipchumba Murkomen was before National Assembly Departmental Committee regarding these FKF elections and other issues, AFCON 2027. Let's take a listen to what he said.
Present. We also have Kisumu All-Stars present, Luanda Villa present, Nairobi United present, Naivas present, Dimba Patriots present.
Second proposer, Bidco FC.
In the game, this is now your chance once these operators are put in. Today, in the afternoon, our league, our Premier CPM Wendo, I hear you.
And of course, those are cutaways during the FKF SGM. We'll be getting that clip by Murkomen shortly. But let me come to you, Wakili. You've seen what Zita has done there, and those are the key dates in this election cycle. And you've seen some candidates actually raise concern regarding the time frame. They're saying 3 months is too short. After the SGM, we should have 6 months. Some saying the picking of that electoral board wasn't open. There was no public participation. Who came up with the names? Probably from a legal perspective, what do you say about this?
It is important that when we are talking about elections, we are able to not only hold the elections, but hold them in accordance to law, because the reason we are here, the reasons those elections have been delayed have been because there has been raised issues over time and again. There has been court cases ongoing about either the eligibility of some candidates to vie, over whether the term has been expired. We have had botched AGMs, and I would want to speak on the timelines. It is for us to look at what do these elections mean to us, because once we look at if you say 3 months is too short, the law requires that you should hold elections within 6 months. So yes, there is that, but there is the aspect of these elections are long overdue. So if only the candidates would come together and decide that, okay, fine, the timelines that we are operating with, what is at stake, we need to have our house organized in order for us to prepare for AFCON, because whoever is coming in is going to be rightfully in charge of the AFCON and the CHAN that comes in February. So we do not have much time. But then
we don't have much time, but again, you've brought a very key point. Sorry for cutting you short. If all the candidates read from the same page, but that's not happening. We've heard Tom Alila, he spoke to one of us very in-depth yesterday, saying there has been a lot of litigation.
Yes.
And there's no guarantee. And even as we discussed this, Sami Kempes is in court, remember?
Yeah.
And what Alila is saying, let's not rush this process and have it again challenged in court, or we get fresh injunctions.
I was getting to that point. If the candidates can agree that because we are operating on very thin timelines, then they could agree that let's do this within 3 months. But then there are other pertinent issues that are also being raised, like for instance, how was the electoral board brought in to the place? Where will the electoral board be hosted? I mean, how do you have an IEBC operating from the office of the president? It raises questions. So, of course, there are issues there are procedural issues with the timelines, but then again, how are we sure that if this is rushed, let's do this in a way that you're not going to give anyone a reason to go to court to challenge this, because us going to court again will take us back to where we have always been. I mean, the current administration has been in office longer than their term, but things are not getting better. I mean, right now, if you have an issue to address, you're not sure you're addressing you're raising the issues with the right people, because number one, the clarity of whether they are in office legally or illegally is already in question. So I think it's time that we got sober and know that this is what we need to do. But then the challenge now moves to the electoral board. Yes, you're already there. Can you just do a good job to make sure that the elections that you're going to conduct are free, fair, and verifiable? That would at least have us move. But let us also not just move for the sake of it, so that we also avoid the litigation, because the impact would be the prolonged litigation and what would be perceived as government interference would come back to bite us. Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but again, after the SGM, everyone came out very happy and said that we have already put everything in order. We are ready for this. We agreed with everything. I remember even though the interviews they did run here. So for me, I'm like, why are you disagreeing again with all this process? And then you are in the SGM and you agreed with everything.
Babu, hisia zako ni zipi?
Hisia zangu ni kwamba nadhani ni wakati mzuri sana kama alivyosema wakili. Shirikisho la kandanda Kenya linahusishwa na matukio ya vurugu, sintofahamu, masuala ya mahakamani, na nadhani ni wakati mzuri kwa sababu kwanza kabisa kama tulivyosema mwanzoni, nchi inahitaji kuwa katika hali nzuri tayari kwa mashindano yajayo ya Afrika. Tunaanza na CHAN alafu AFCON, kwa hivyo lazima kuwe na uongozi ambao unatoa mwelekeo mzuri, na nadhani uchaguzi huu kama alivyosema Zita kuanzia mashinani hadi juu, lakini nadhani juu ndio macho yataelekezwa sana kwa sababu huko ndio kutatoa mwelekeo mzuri katika nchi hii na mambo ya kandanda kwa kweli.
Shitera, there's this question of independence, yes. And Murkomen talked about it.
Yeah.
You are organizing elections. Of course, FKF is the party organizing these elections.
Yes.
You've picked the electoral board. This electoral board going to operate from the FKF headquarters. And this is what Alila was pointing to. What's the independence of that electoral board?
I think Waswahili wanasema mgala muwe lakini haki yake mpe. And for this, I think the FKF has really challenged us. We've been butchering FKF left, right, center. They have provided the roadmap. And all those people who are talking, why in that SGM?
So they should have raised it on the floor.
They should have raised those questions
on the
in
floor.
the SGM. But they agreed. Now, look at it this way. On constitutionality, I think the FKF constitution is not so clear about the SGM. It says that the elections shall be held 6 months after the AGM. We had a botched AGM.
March, yes.
Then we moved to satisfy FIFA by holding an SGM.
Right.
Because as we speak, I think the branches are no longer there. We don't have them because their term ended in September. The current office, its term is ending this month, October, the month we're beginning, October. So we'll be living in uncertainty. So whatever FKF has done, for heaven's sake, is the right step. And because there is so much grayness on how long should an election be held after the SGM, I think 3 months is fine.
So for you think FKF has done well here by organizing this is a good roadmap. What would you want to see as we proceed? Because there are discordant voices. How do you bring this together so that we have elections that is all inclusive and that after this again we're not treated to cat and mouse games in court?
I was to answer your question on whether it is okay or clean to host the electoral board at Kandanda House. And I think we've always again come out to crucify FKF on accountability issues. So we will not want to see them again spending so much money renting a facility for an electoral body, and then again litigations will come. So, but quickly, the CS, and I think the footage will play, was in Parliament, and the CS said the government will provide a neutral location venue for the, I think that now remedies that question. But whether they are housed at Kandanda House or wherever, I think, you see, in 2016, under the leadership of Sam Nyamweya, the same thing happened. But Nick Mwendwa won. So I think let us have in our mind that this is an independent body.
Let me
30 seconds. Zita, come to you. 30 seconds, Wakili, then Zita.
We are here because the reason we are raising questions about where the electoral body is going to be housed is because you have mentioned accountability. FKF has not been very good with accountability. So let us not give them the leverage to continue with their bad manners in matters of accountability. So that's why the option of the government providing a neutral ground, we have enough money in this country that is stolen.
But not to be misused.
No, it's not going to be misused. We are making sure that we hold free, fair, and verifiable elections. Let us not give litigants an opportunity, rather candidates, an opportunity to question the credibility of the elections based on just where they were housed.
20 seconds, Zita.
Just there's a difference between the SGM and AGM. People need to know that.
That's true.
We are not going to follow the AGM rules to do the SGM because we had the SGM, we didn't have the AGM. So something else is that let us not have that the mentality of watu wakipelekwa place fulani sisi hatutafanyiwa kitu fulani watu sasa tupeleke wapi watu, because everyone wants to rule with their own rules, unaelewa? So let us just have the mentality of you've been given this job. Please do it as a human being and do it as your job so that next time ikijulikana mimi najua nikuwa nilifanya kazi yangu vizuri. I was not bribed or I was not
as a matter of fact, Zita, we only have one aspirant who has declared. So if Alila is complaining,
I think we have two so far. Hussein has declared openly. Kempes has declared.
No, he has not even unveiled.
No, he's declared. But he has not unveiled his campaign. He launched his campaign. Remember, he did.
Okay, Alila, who is complaining, should also unveil his candidature, then pose the challenge as a person who is now ready.
Yeah,
because sometimes you might be using the courts and the litigation process to try and get some underhand.
Of course, hold it there. Very heated here, very animated matters, FKF elections, and of course, that will be a running story all the way to December 7th when we'll have a new FKF president, and of course, we'll stay top of it, including talking to those aspirants. We'll give you all the opportunity. Right of reply, including the Federation. If you want to be here, we are open to that. Sporty Monday takes a brief commercial break, but when we return, we have a beautiful story on the Africa Cycling Championship. We'll also go to Germany, where Bruce's colleague Babu Abdallah is on standby. Not to forget, the Devils were exercised at the Old Trafford. Not one, not two, but 3 from the Tots. Don't miss that.